This nanny accidentally broke the owner's antique teapot while cleaning. She thought the porcelain was not worth a few dollars. However, when she apologized to the cleaning company, the manager instead told her good news, as well as a bad news. The good news was that the owner had gone on a trip. They won't be back home until half a year later. The bad news is, the teapot is from the Tang dynasty in China. The price of the teapot is astronomical. She couldn't even afford to sell her entire family to pay for it. Laura was horrified at the news. Looking at the room key on the table, a wicked thought occurred to her. She opened all the doors of the villa. Then she lay down on the big bed with a cozy face, looking at the expensive clothes in the closet. Then she looked at herself in the mirror, so she changed into her gorgeous clothes. Then she burned the rags to the ground and transformed herself into the mistress of the house. Laura thought she couldn't afford to pay for it anyway. She might as well take over the villa in the meantime to experience what it's like to be a rich woman. When she was hungry, she went to the cellar. From the refrigerator, she took out a high-grade steak and a bottle of Lafite 82. To make this villa more like her home, she tore up all the owner's photos and made it the way she wanted it to be. But only 2 days into this life, it was broken by a doorbell. Laura thought it was the master's family returning early and walked up apprehensively, only to open the door and realize it was a young man asking for directions. However, while they were talking, the young man's girlfriend screamed. It turned out that his girlfriend, Anna, was in labor. Laura had to invite them inside. The situation was critical. Laura was on her hands and knees to deliver the baby. Luckily, the baby was born successfully. Looking at the hands of this tender baby, Laura's feelings were not calmed for a long time. As she experienced this kind of thing for the first time, a different kind of emotion arose in her mind. That is the feeling of home. Over 50 years old, she had no children. Now the sudden appearance of this couple eased her lonely heart. She planned to take this affection for herself as well. Then she got them mother and baby supplies and invited the family to stay longer and even let them stay as long as they wanted. Seeing this, the young man readily agreed, then invited them to stay for a long time. She even generously said, "My house is your house." The men shared the good news with their wives. They naively thought they had met a rich woman, but what they didn't know was, this rich woman is actually just a nanny. And for the next few days, Anna took care of the kids. Mike took on the heavy lifting at the villa. Laura became a housewife, cooking 3 meals a day for the family. But soon the peace and quiet was shattered once again. One day the gardener was preparing to repair the garden. Laura was frightened and panicked when she saw him, fearful that her secret would be exposed. So she took all her savings and gave them to the gardener, lying that the owner of the house could no longer afford to pay. So she told him not to come and work here anymore. Luckily, the gardener didn't suspect a thing. However, it aroused Mike's suspicion. How could such a rich woman living in a mansion? She couldn't even afford to pay for her work. Mike was working on the lawn in the afternoon, but suddenly found the luxury car in the garage. The strange thing is that there is no gasoline in the tank, so he asked Laura to pay for gas. Laura had already paid all the money to the gardener. At this moment she was already penniless. Not only that, there was very little food left in the fridge, and the gas stove was running out of gas. Looking at Laura with averted eyes, Mike had an answer in his heart. This is not your house. Laura had no need to hide. She admitted that she was just a nanny, but Mike didn't want to leave when he found out. He decided to start planning with Laura, sell all the valuable things in the house, and continue to live here like parasites. But just when they were having a good time, an accident shattered the peace and quiet.